Om Swastiastu, bonjour, hello everyone. My name is Alex. I'm a breathwork facilitator. About 8 years ago, I experienced a transformative experience that changed my life. Through the breath, I realized that I was not living my true self life. And I am now on a journey of facilitating almost 6,000 people and training trainers who facilitate breathwork and other modalities of transformation around the world. Just a few weeks ago, I experienced a new rebirth in a very unexpected way. I got the incredible honor and privilege to be invited to facilitate for inmates at the local prison here in Bali, together with a friend, one of the person who graduated from my training. We facilitated for 33 prisoners most transformative breathwork session. I didn't expect it would change my life, and looking back on how I live my life and what's going on for me inside of me, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm 47 years old. I just feel I'm becoming an adult now. And I don't say that in any light way. I feel it has been the most transformative thing one human can do. I want to share it with you. I want you to feel what it was, and I hope it will inspire you. It's so easy in our everyday life, whatever happens to us, to just move from appreciation for a person to rejection of that person. I don't believe there are good or bad people. I do believe that some people have tougher childhoods than others because of socio-economical context, poverty, alcohol, violence, all sorts, races, all sorts of conditions get people to enter life formed as adults or young adults without the tools, without the love, without the appreciation for what is needed to be a functioning human within society. As a result of the traumas that people experience, you, me, and everyone else, we develop some coping mechanism, ways to just function. And that's exactly what happens for me when someone's misbehaved in society. I think that society is praising those who find coping mechanisms like making money, shopping, writing books. They are socially acceptable. But alcoholism, drugs, that's not okay. And to some extreme, beating up someone, abusing sexually someone, murdering someone is obviously and of course not okay. The problem is that we just brand the people who commit these crimes as just bad people. When we name someone, you just reinforce that belief, and there is no way out. That's it. The person will start getting the tattoos, the muscles, the face will change, and they will take on that role that society has put up on them. My only problem with prisons is that it doesn't work. If it was working, then I would not have anything to say. I do believe that we need to come and address and support humans on their healing journey. Your healing journey, their healing journey, our healing journey. And I believe that the breath is an incredible way to do that. I think it's a universal one, and it's the one that gets everyone to access the traumas that are buried in their bodies. It's the one that gets us to reconnect with the true self, the one that has always been there, that was dormant, that needed to come out, and that's been protected by the different aspects and traumas and ways we've coped with our traumas. Let me share a bit about what happened inside of a prison. Again, I arrived, I had no expectation. I didn't even know I was facilitating, to be honest. I arrived, I thought I would be just observing, assisting. At no point I thought I would be facilitating. And within seconds, my friend told me, hey, you should facilitate. I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a computer, we didn't have a loudspeaker, I didn't have a timer, nothing. And to be honest, from the moment I entered the prison to the moment I left 4 hours later, I was in my heart the whole time. And that's the secret of transformation. I was not thinking about the future. I was not thinking about the past. I was just fully present to that experience that was so unique, so different, so touching. I was just like on another planet, and all my senses were alight. I was just captivated by what was going on around me. Imagine 1,000 people and how they were coordinating their lives in a confined space. Not something that I'm familiar with, not something that I had any idea about. Here are a few things that really struck me through that experience. Initially, the way I like to start sessions is like, not very original. I ask people to sit in a circle. And there we get to connect. We get to connect to each other, to the environment, to ourselves. First thing, people didn't want to sit in circle. They didn't want to approach. They were sitting behind each other. The image that I felt in that moment was like wild animals approaching a mysterious pond in the middle of the desert, wondering if there are crocodiles hidden somewhere, if the water was not spoiled. It's really the impression. And it got me a long time to really ease them to come and form a simple request, which is like, let's sit in circle. And that struck me like, how hard is that? Well, for them, it was really hard. And I really got touched by that. Next, I got them to connect to their outside world, which I do all the time. But there, the outside world was just loudspeakers screaming and inmates laughing and making fun. And it's just aggression, just aggression. So hard to feel safe in that environment, hard to relax in that environment. Then I invited them to connect with each other, to connect to myself, and whoa! By doing that, I was also connecting to the 33 people around me, and I could feel something very heavy, like I had never experienced anything like that. Just tuning into the vibration of what was going on around me, boom, anchored me. I had a sense of responsibility in that moment. I knew that what's going to happen had never been done for them. I felt like a very big sense of responsibility. And I cannot imagine what they were going through, connecting with each other, feeling into each other's energy. My intention was for them to soften a little bit, to actually feel a little bit safe in that environment. We then invited them to lay down. Now, imagine again that. You lay down, you close your eyes. You need to surrender. You need to feel safe in that moment. And imagine the level of vulnerability that is needed to do that. Well, they did it. It was not easy. We breathed for an hour. I guided them. And I felt the urge. I don't always do it, but I felt the urge more than ever to get right into their bodies. And I started going frantic, massaging their faces, patting their hair, and then massaging their whole bodies, searching for tensions, and it was not hard to find them. Their whole body were tense and protective of years of abuse, of misuse. For how long have they been having negative thoughts about themselves, judging themselves, punishing themselves? I could feel so much blockages, so many unfelt emotions. And slowly, just with the breath, they started one after the other to release, to cry, to scream for some of them, to shake. And it was just incredible to witness again the power of just laying down and being with your own breath. Eventually, we ended the session. One person stayed for the whole integration, laying on the floor. The others formed now a circle, way easier. I could feel the changes in the faces. Something had shifted for some of them. And some of them got up, grabbed the microphone that we had by then organized, and they started sharing. One man shared that he had not seen his children in years, 3 children. And that in that moment, he was reconnecting to the feeling of hugging his children. Another man, locked in for 15 years, shared that he had access to memories buried 15 years ago, he had not allowed himself to access them. The last chair was a man who expressed that he had a complete mystical experience, an out-of-body experience, that he was connected to the divine. I then got them to pair up and share with each other what their experience was about. And I could feel them just connecting like everyone's connecting for years in this space. And I was just overwhelmed. I was just overwhelmed. It was like there was no words needed anymore. A few minutes later, I was back in the street. How easy was that for me? An hour later, I was playing with my children. I could call and have a nice connection with my partner. I could be on the toilet alone. I could put my head on a pillow, relax in the evening, not next to someone, not annoyed by constant stimulation sounds. And I was so grateful for this life, so grateful for being able to do all those simple things that we all take for granted. And all of a sudden, promoting myself, facilitating workshops, even challenges in relationships, or whatever was going on in my life, had been brought to a completely different level. So I hope this inspires you to, I tell you what you can take away from this. There is no such thing as a bad person. There's just wounded people who are blaming themselves, who are trying to figure out what's wrong with them, asking themselves the wrong question. The right one being is, what happened to you? And maybe there is a space in your heart for you to reframe your relationship with people who have abused you, people you consider as bad from a political standpoint, people who are leaders of another government that you feel very strong negative emotions against. And maybe you can revisit every relationship, every interaction you had in your life with that framework. What happened to them? There's no such thing as a bad person. Diablo needs to become spirit. We are all love, trying to express itself, sometimes in a dysfunctional way. Thank you, my friends. Sending you lots of love.